1, 2. Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of The Kickout, the final word in professional wrestling. I am your host, the Wizard CZ, and of course, joining me is my tag team partner, one half of the For Frequency's Sake tag team champions of the world, always defending those titles day and night. No matter who comes and challenges us, we are fighting champions. But my partner in crime, never wrong, Nick Bull. Nick, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, CZ. We're midweek here, halfway through another week. I'm bringing you some wrestling content. Of course, you know us from Card Subject to Change, but this is the Kickout, our midweek short form video format, and we're glad you're here. Lots to talk about in wrestling, CZ, but I want to know, what do you want to talk about?
So I've got something that's been bugging me for the last couple of months, at least, I want to say. And I want to talk about the AEW.
It's got to be since October.
Yes.
When Don Moxley, as you call him, beat Bryan Danielson, not only for the AE title, but ended Bryan's career. So that I believe that was back in October.
Yes, so way back. But what bugs me is it's not that Moxley has the title. It's not the story that they're telling, because it's been decent. It hasn't been bad. What bugs me is the fact that the title is being kept in a briefcase and not seen on TV. And here's my issue with that. I think not showcasing your main title lessens the value of that title, because it should be prominent. It should be front and center. This is your crown jewel of your entire company. Your champion should proudly display that he is the champion.
2 questions.
All right.
What if it's involved in an angle? And 2, what about the other side of that with WWE having KO carry around the Winged Eagle? That's not their title.
Fair questions. Both fair questions. If it's part of an ongoing story, I can let it slide to an extent. And I know this is part of AEW's story and what they're trying to tell, but it's been months since we've seen the belt on TV. And I think it takes away from that championship, in my opinion. On the other side of things, for sure, you've got KO holding the Winged Eagles championship. And at the Rumble, him and Cody are going to go to one-on-one in a ladder match with both titles, from my understanding, hanging above the ring. I think that's a little different, because it is a prominent storyline that they're telling. Triple H said one night only for the Winged Eagle to Cody, but Kevin Owens has kind of taken that momentum or taken that away from him by holding that title and taking it from Cody to call his own. And I think when the event culminates at the Rumble, when this feud comes to a head, you're going to see the Winged Eagle either become the new WWE Championship for nostalgia purposes, or you're going to see it kind of fade into the wayside again.
Yeah,
I can see it going either way.
Yeah, that's the 2 ways I see it going as well. I'm not as bothered by the AEW title situation maybe as you may be. I get your point. It needs to be featured. But this whole Death Riders thing to me has been an act of defiance, a middle finger to the AEW. Hey, we're taking over here. So we're taking what you stand for, and we're just going to put it in a briefcase and carry it around. So it doesn't bother me as much as it bothered you, but I get what you're saying. You should have that title featured as much as you can prominently. And I was just being the devil's advocate there on the Cody and KO situation. It doesn't bother me if they bring the Winged Eagle back or not. But you need to decide between the two. It's a great marketing move by WWE to get the winged eagle back, so people want to grab one and have one.
Yep.
So when they go, type of deal, I get it. I knew why they did it. It's fine. I'm fine with the storyline. But after this match or after the storyline, there needs to only be one title. There doesn't need to be two separate titles. Then you're watering down not only your roster, but you're taking away from your main championship, in my opinion. So after this match, I'm fine with it going back to one belt, whatever belt it is. I don't care if it's the Winged Eagle. I don't care if it's the newer one. There just needs to be one championship belt in this storyline after this match.
That being said, let me ask you this, Nick. Let's rewind back a year or two ago before they brought in the World Heavyweight Championship, and Roman had at one point had 3 belts right around the time they brought in the World Heavyweight Championship. He had the WWE Championship, he had the Universal Championship, and then they had the undisputed belt that Cody now holds. And the two belts from the previous run were retired shortly after that, but he was carrying around, or at least Paul Heyman was, 3 titles at one point for a short period of time. What were your thoughts on that?
That's different, in my opinion. That was part of that storyline. He's conquered everybody. He's conquered everything. That doesn't bother me as much as like KO carrying around a belt that he hasn't won, and it being a Winged Eagle as well. So that didn't bother me as much because that was part of Roman Reigns' storyline, having those belts, then belts turning into one belt. That was all natural progression to me, so that didn't bother me as such. I understood why they did that.
And I'm not opposed to what you're saying. I tend to agree, but I just was like you were playing a little devil's advocate there because that's another instance where we saw multiple belts on one person that really didn't need to be there. Kind of the opposite of what my initial thought was talking about this episode, but I think anytime that you're not featuring your world championship on a show, at least on occasion, you're devaluing that title.
Yeah, your champion, in my opinion, needs to be present. They need to have a presence, and if they're not on a said show, they need to be on that other show as much as possible. I know it's different in AEW. There's one champion and 2 different shows. WWE has a champ per show. So, like, if you're the champion, you need to be featured prominently. And if you're not in the main event or the last segment, there better be something bigger going on. And it better not be taking away from, like, your number one storyline. So, I guess he kind of goes back to kind of placing the card argument for when you're the champion. But I believe if you're the champion, you need to be prominently featured on the show that you represent and on there regularly.
Yeah, and I think as the champion representing that company, you need to have that belt front and center at least more times than not. I understand what the Death Riders are doing and why the story is what it is with that briefcase hiding the belt, but you got to bring it out once in a while and say, here it is. This is my championship. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think we could agree with that. How about you guys out there? Let us know what you think. Should the titles, is AEW doing something wrong by putting this title in a briefcase and not showing it, even though it's part of the storyline? Do you agree with us that the champion should be prominently featured? Let us know. Hit us up on socials. At NickBull55, at the Wizard CZ on socials. This is the Kickout. Of course, we are part of the For Frequency Sake Network and have a longer form show we record on Sundays called Card Subject to Change. What is coming up on the next episode of Card Subject to Change, Wizard?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Nick, because I'm super excited. We are coming to everyone live at a special start time Sunday. We are going to be on at 10 in the morning. The reason is because the gentleman we have coming in is booked for a show that evening. It conflicts with our normal time. However, I'm happy to accommodate this gentleman because you and I both kind of agree that he's going to be he's going to be blowing up here sooner rather than later. He's going to become a much bigger star, more prominent than he is right now.
2025 is going to be a big year for this individual.
Yes, and this it's going to be a big year, and this gentleman is big. In fact, he's even a barbarian, but he's got some gentlemanly tendencies. We're bringing on Bruce Hamilton, the gentleman barbarian, and I'm super excited to talk with him because I'm sure he's got some good stories. And like I said, he's going to be someone to watch here in this coming year.
Totally agree. Glad to have him booked, and we'll be in studio this coming Sunday as we record the Card Substance Change podcast. Very excited to pick this guy's brain and looking forward to the stories he has to share with us. I know, man, he is in for a big. I mean, he's going to explode. I think he's going to be huge. No pun intended. I think we both agree that this guy is special and is going to go places. So we're glad to have him booked next week for the Card Substance Change podcast. This has been the Kick Out. He is the Wizard CZ. I'm Never Run Bull. Of course, we're powered by Lopez Pizza, built by Durham Remodeling, colored by Ryan Allison Tattoo, and protected by Jared Zuka Country Financial. Hit us up on socials, like, follow, share, subscribe, leave a review. Let us know what you want to hear about. Let us know what you want to talk about. We love talking wrestling. For my co-host, my tag team partner, the Wizard CZ. CZ, I am Never Wrong Nick Bull, and this is the Kick Out, the final word in professional wrestling.
This has been a For Frequency's Sake Podcast Network production. For more great content, subscribe to For Frequency's Sake on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.